But both the camera and our eyes can't see things that fast, so it turns it into a solid line, just like your TV. That's why your TV, when you put a fan in front of an old tube TV, you see it kind of get flickery. Well, same deal. TV draws, there's scan lines. It actually draws the screen, and it does it so fast that your eyes can't see that it's drawing it until you put something like a fan in front of it. So that's, imagine if that was doing a sine wave. All digital does is it records the location of that dot in time. The faster it records it, the higher the sample, the higher the sample rate, the faster it records that dot. The lower the sample rate, the less it records that dot. So when it's all said and done with, you get values. And all it does is it takes those values that it records, because it doesn't record a picture, it records, at this point it was at 10, at this point it was at 12, at this point, and then it goes back to, 16, 12, 10, whatever. Negative, whatever the case may be. And it restores those in binary values. Hang on. Patches, what are you doing? Sorry, my cat's standing up, licking the side of the bed. Okay, anyway. No bad comments. Alright, so then you have what it does, what a digital to analog converter, DAC, does, is it recreates those points. And it plays connect the dots. And it recreates your sine wave. That's it. Now, here's the debate. Because of this, what if something happened in here? It would miss it. Well, if something were to happen in there, it would be an extremely high frequency, and by having a higher sample rate, you would catch that. And it would be of a frequency that human ears cannot hear. So why bother recording that if we can't hear it? And that's one answer. A lot of people like myself say, well, I want the real waveform. I don't want a digitally representation of a waveform. I want to hear the real thing. I don't want a computer faking me out here. And to some extent, digital people kind of understand that, but they still say, well, you can't hear that, so there's no point in it. Well, here's the thing. Just because you can't hear that, at least this is my feelings, and a lot of others as well. And so we're going to take mine out. We're just going to say people feel as though just because you can't hear it doesn't mean it doesn't matter. It plays a part in the full sound. So a higher frequency can affect a lower frequency, at least in the dynamics of the room, or the way the speaker reacts, or the way that the signal is processed. It affects it. If you look at, here, I'll draw you a chart. All right, so we'll call this 0 hertz. 10,000 hertz, 20,000 hertz, or 20 kilohertz. Okay. Sorry, my handwriting's atrocious. Alright, digital, theoretically, players, CD players, etc., they all have their own frequency response. But in theory, and also recorders, don't forget this stuff has to be recorded at some point. Digital is equal the whole way across. Once it hits 22, this is for a CD, by the way. Once it hits 22 kilohertz, I know it says 44.1. It's 2 channels. 2 channels. So you cut that in half. Therefore, 1 channel is equal to 22.05 kilohertz. So we're going to say 22 kilohertz. kilohertz. Once it hits 22 kilohertz, it drops off, and anything that was beyond here, it doesn't exist as far as it's concerned because it doesn't sample that high. All right, now analog. Analog tapes. You have vinyl. Different qualities of vinyl. Different qualities of analog tapes. All different types of tapes. Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's all kind of different medias. But we're gonna say home use looks something like that, where CD is 100% the whole way across, and then it drops off at 22,000 hertz. Okay, analog slowly declines for the most part, like an analog cassette tape. Now, some, we'll call this pro analog, and maybe even vinyl, may go further before it starts to, fade out, whatever. But all analog has that fade out. It doesn't just cut off. It's not. The problem with digital is it's unnatural. It doesn't just come out and cut off. Analog fades, and this and the fact that it has a higher frequency, higher top end, helps to create a warmer sound and a more lifelike sound. If you've ever, I'll give you an example. If you've ever seen a CRT projector, and this is my terrible artwork. And this is, where you have, I don't even know why I bothered drawing it. You have the three circles on the front of it. And it's this huge projector. It probably weighs, I don't know, 300 pounds. I used to have one. I was going to mount it and then realized I didn't want something that weighed, almost half a ton. This thing was heavy. I don't even know how much it weighed, but it was, let's put it this way. I lifted an engine of my car off the back of a truck with some help. And that weighed 250 pounds. I tried to lift this CRT projector that I had, and I couldn't even budge it. So I don't even know how much the damn thing weighed. I had to have like 4 guys help me, and we all struggled in the process. And then we decided I don't want that thing hanging over my head. But we did test it out, and it's got a green gun, a red gun, and a blue gun, and it's basically 3 cathode ray tubes with lenses on them. Google it, CRT projector. The images that are put through those things aren't very bright. You have to have almost complete darkness in the room when you're using them. But the color representation is amazing. I mean, if something was supposed to be neon green, it was neon green. If you wanted blacks, it was black. If you wanted white, it was white. I mean, it was brilliant. Now, the resolution was good, but it wasn't what you could get today from a DLP or an LCD projector. And DLP and LCD projectors, they look good, and the color's okay. But if you were to compare the color values from that to, a CRT projector, no competition. I mean, it's like comparing a supermodel to your wife. Your wife might be beautiful. And I'm not talking about personality. I'm talking just straight up looks, because I know personality does change things. My wife might be beautiful, but she's no supermodel. That's an LCD. The LCD looks really damn good, but it ain't no CRT projector. I mean, that's really it. And where I'm going with this is, the CRT projector is kind of like analog. The LCD is like digital. And actually, the way they think internally is, this LCD is digital, and what pixels turn on and off on the screen. Where this is straight up analog, or the projector is actually straight up analog. You get more coloring in the sound with analog. You get a warmth to it. Depending on the media, whether it's vinyl or high-end pro reel-to-reel tape, or whatever the case may be, you may get crackles, you may get hiss, you may get interference, whatever. But the color of the sound, the actual sound quality, at least to audiophiles, is much higher than you get with a CD. I won't even listen to a CD. I can't stand the sound of it. It's like listening to an AM radio as far as I'm concerned. Now, MP3s, you say, well, you listen to MP3s. Yeah, while I'm mowing the lawn. I'll listen to a CD while I'm mowing the lawn, or I could just put it on an MP3 player, and I don't have to worry about the CD skipping as I walk. So it's one or the other. Personally, I like analog, and that's because you capture the full waveform. Blah 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 blah. And I'm sorry if I'm rambling. I'm tired. I can't sleep, so I figured I'd do this kind of stuff. So that's pretty much it. Oh, so then you have 16-bit, 24-bit. Basically, 24-bit means you have more of a dynamic range, or more of a, and higher sampling rate means it samples more. So, or actually, that would be the dynamic range, frequency-wise. And then bit rate is going to be, you know, how loud and how quiet it gets. That's why they say 24-bit. You know, 24-bit stuff is, it's quieter and it has, you know, more loud points, and the actual range is higher. Whatever. That in the sampling range. And I'm sorry, that made absolutely no sense, but I apologize. I need to get some sleep. So anyway, that's that. I may do another video on this again when I'm not extremely tired, at a loss for words. So that is how essentially digital audio works.